Good morning. Welcome back to Forex Focus on Tasty Live. It's Tuesday, May 20th.
How about it, my friend?
How we doing, Pete?
This month's ripping by.
I know. Yep. It turns out April showers bring May showers.
I don't know.
I got drenched.
I didn't even want to look at my backyard.
My pants are soaked.
Are you?
I tried hair drying them in the gym downstairs.
Oh, I bet that.
I got a couple funny
You
looks.
got the Lulus on?
I did. Yeah. I was smart enough to, while getting dressed, opted for the performance. Not exactly water wicking, we now know, but hopefully they'll dry up pretty soon. But yeah, I got embarrassed in the office gym blow drying my pants, so I stopped. No, they would have let, it was my own doing.
Is there a crowd down there at this point?
Yeah, I mean, when TJ goes, there's a big slate of like 5 to 6, and then it kind of dwindles, and then 7 more people in. Not for me. It makes me hungry all day long if I work out in the morning.
You've got, well, you can always take Frank's pants, although that's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I mean, they more work like culottes then with the, you're right below the knee. So I don't know if that would be the answer for you either. So that couldn't work well either.
But yeah.
No, we got a couple of days of rain. It's cold.
Memorial Day, not looking like it's going to be cool weather.
It's not going to be a spectacular long week, but we'll see. Lots of exciting things going on in the world of FX.
Yeah. I mean, wasn't supposed to be maybe a high impact week, but got some news over the weekend that was quickly shrugged off. Credit downgrade. So now is that completely old news?
How was the Beyonce concert?
I hear it was fantastic.
So you weren't there?
I was not there. No.
So we got all this from our previous.
You got to get Bridget back on here.
Yes, little B.
She'll give you. She got free tickets. So
free tickets and almost shanked somebody getting out of the pizza parlor. I understand. So an interesting story she could share.
Yeah, now I think she has to come back on. But no, did not go to Beyonce. I did see it was funny. It was kind of a double check all weekend with people wearing.
Was it Soldier Field?
Yeah, it was Soldier Field with people wearing kind of ridiculous cowboy outfits. And me personally didn't immediately connect it with Beyonce, but this is her Cowboy Carter album. And so it's country themed. And so after a second connected the dots, any vest, any just denim vest and boots.
The thing? Something Carhartt or what's the other one? I forget what it is.
Dickies?
Yeah, there's another one. I forget. That was on Yellowstone. These guys used to always wear this stuff. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I'm watching that. Good show.
Oh, man, there is a new one out. A Yellowstone knockoff. Ransom Creek.
Oh, really?
Oh, my
I watched the 1923.
That was good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, with Harrison Ford?
Yeah,
that was good.
And the Spencer Dutton.
Right.
He was good looking.
Yeah, that was good. But no, there's something called Ransom Creek. That's a knockoff of it on, I want to say Prime.
That's pretty funny.
And it's kind of a combination of Landman and Yellowstone. So
good.
A lot of gratuitous nakedness at weird spots, mixed with a little bit of arguments over cattle. So
that's all you need. That's the American dream.
Thank God for the fast forward button. Less and less. I don't know. It's like a black hole. You get sucked into these things and you watch them. And I'm becoming my father of complaining about the show the entire time while never shutting it off.
That's pretty funny. Yes. I did go see Sinners over the weekend, the new vampire movie.
Really?
It was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good.
And who is in the new vampire movie?
Well, my girlfriend heard great reviews about it, so wanted to go. 5 minutes in, it turns out that
you didn't have a choice at that point. Wanted to
have
nothing to do with it.
Correct, but I was like, "Why do you want to see this?" She's like, "Oh, people are saying great things." 5 minutes into the movie, turns out there's not one Michael B. Jordan character. There are 2. They cloned him, and both of them have their shirts off. So that's why she wanted to go.
It's gonna sound really bad, but who is Michael B. Jordan?
Creed, the new Rocky.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there were 2 of him. So
okay.
Couldn't have been a bad movie.
And was he a good vampire, bad vampire, a vampire?
Vampire is bad. Not
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
But it was pretty good.
So not like a
1930s
Wesley
Mississippi.
Snipes, and you probably have never even seen those movies.
No. Oh, here you go. We're getting Michael B. Jordan here. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Got
Very,
it.
very handsome fellow.
Very good.
Yeah.
And you liked it.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay.
But yeah, my first time in a movie theater since a long time.
And how
A
was
year.
it?
It was
Did
decent.
they serve all the food and everything?
I mean, I didn't. That would have been like $1 million, so I didn't get.
Yeah, but
I didn't get it.
it kind of stinks up the theater, too.
Yeah. No, it wasn't bad. It was Friday night. It was at Roosevelt Collection, so it's kind of dead.
Very good.
It's fine. It was middle of that dust storm.
Oh,
That was
okay.
pretty crazy.
Right. So it is, what is it? It's Tuesday. So
Now, yes.
a little early for the weekend plans. What do you got
Oh
for
gosh.
the long holiday?
I'm gonna take Friday off.
Really?
Yeah. So, gallivanting across the city on Friday. I'm excited.
Fascinating.
Nice
And
little
where do
4-day
you-
weekend.
Where do you start your new job on Tuesday then?
That is
That's
a
gonna be
decision
exciting.
for Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, we're living in the moment this weekend.
I think you should, and you should embrace that moment.
Thank you.
Yes, and for everybody who's looking to enjoy an early long weekend, it'll be fun to see where they all land on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So, very good.
Looking
Exciting
forward to
stuff.
it. But before then, we got work to do.
Hey, you get 3 days to go through. I don't know what online job sites there are, but that's exciting.
Yeah. Indeed.
Indeed.
Or glass door used to be right here.
That's
So
right.
something in the air. But no.
Glenn, you're far too valuable a cog.
Thank you. But let's hop into the platform. We had.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
That.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 knuckleheads.
Yeah. It was. It was.
5 knuckleheads.
One of our coworkers here calls him Fed Crash Kari. Not too much excitement there, but they did say they had a lot to say that in answering what a credit downgrade means for inflation projections. They said, you're right. That's something we'll have to consider. We'll get back to you. It's a pretty good deal. Any question? You're like, that's a good question. We'll consider that. We'll factor that in for sure. Any other questions?
RBA lowered rates,
Yep.
25 basis points. There was some talk of lowering at 50, so we saw what we tend to do in the world of Aussie. A little bit of rally during the day, and then they marked it all out at the rate announcement. It was late today.
Yeah.
Wow, that was late.
Right there around midnight Central Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, looked like it could have kept falling to 64 cents. Found a lot of ground and not.
Whether or not they cut, I'm sure they cut to 25 basis points and said they're affording themselves more flexibility. I didn't read the statement. So whether it's 25 or 50, I don't think it was necessarily that impactful.
But I mean, we've seen over recent weeks the London Open really magnify moves that happen overnight. Not so much here. I mean, keeping it down there around 64 cents, but not a ton of movement. Do you think that when the U.S. opens, that'll have a lot of inflow into this Australian dollar?
I don't know. I think that, as you point out, the dollar seems to get bid in the morning through London, and then, depending on circumstances, they take some gas out of it, as they did yesterday. So we'll see. We're going into a holiday weekend. I don't want to talk about stuff like this early and on a Tuesday, but we're definitely range-bound trading right now. I don't know if, coincidentally, 65 cents here. Let's take a look at Kiwi, see if Kiwi had a more muted reaction to this. We know there's a strong correlation between the two. Yeah, pretty darn muted.
Yeah. Not
Couldn't
that's
quite
pretty-
challenge 60 cents, but trading a little bit lower. I'm sure Aussie Kiwi is down a little bit.
Not really. I'm surprised that there was little to no move on the announcement, I guess. I mean, London, European markets perhaps taking a more speculative play here in terms of what the impact is on lower rates, but nothing really on the announcement.
No, and we know there's a strong correlation between Aussie and Kiwi. It's still dynamic. slower moving pairs trade, but also that this has tended to hold on to a little bit more of the upper end of the range. So, I'll be at a diminished range, but the
Pretty strong move in the cross here, though.
right,
I mean, New Zealand dollar gaining a ton here,
right.
and then coming back a little bit. Let's see, I have little to no historic context for this pair.
Well-
Is this? I mean, I guess the chart will tell us. Wow, quite a rebound for this Australian dollar, which we knew was the case against the U.S. dollar. Was not aware of its relative strength against the New Zealand dollar because
Right.
we've seen that one also gain on the U.S. dollar.
Right. But, I think this is an interesting one where you look at Aussie 80 pips off of that inflection point, Kiwi now about 70 pips off of that 60 cent level. Cross is probably a little bit more interesting trade right now. So something to possibly consider in terms of you got the trough at 106.5, a decent bounce up to 109. And now it seems like Aussie is having a little bit of a struggle here, and maybe this rolls over a little bit.
Do you want to jump over to Eurodollar, which I know you and Frank covered yesterday, but really was the mover on this this weekend news, whatever impact the credit rating downgrade had. I mean, still very much higher than we closed on Friday, but saw a lot of that get taken out throughout the U.S. session yesterday.
Right.
Would have expected this to play out probably more in dollar yen, but this one getting a lot of bid. What my question to you is even if we haven't gotten a ton of price action off of this dollar yen, and still a considerable, I think down about 1%, from Friday's close. If someone thinks that that this hasn't been as strong a reaction in this market, is there still a story to be had in the future going forward with what Japan actually does with our treasuries? Japan, largest foreign holder
Right.
of our treasuries, right? Is there anything left in this credit downgrade story where Japan could alter their strategy there? Not worth trying to call the wind.
I don't think so. I think the threat was used in the tariffs. Tariffs have now kind of disappeared into the background of everything. I think they're going to reappear in some fashion in the next couple. We're running up to April 2nd, which is, again, the next inflection point. That
Is it
will
June? June or July? The next date?
I thought the next date was April 2nd. Did they push further than April 2nd?
April? Or in May?
I'm sorry, June 2nd.
Okay.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Excuse
No,
me.
I
No,
was
what
just
am I
making
thinking?
sure.
Right, June 2nd.
Okay, June.
So I think the credit downgrade story played out like every other credit downgrade story. We got a markdown Sunday night, and people looked at U.S. equities were cheap, treasuries below 112 were cheap, and they bought them. The short end of the curve really didn't move, and a little bit of the markup of markdown in FX was neutralized. I think right now we're working our way back down to that 142 level in a relatively measured way. Here is something where the quick trade up to 149. Now, we've traded down within this February, March, and April. After the run up to 149, we've kind of put a series of new lows into from Monday the 12th. This has just been new lows, a little bit of bounce, another new low. The bounce, not as high as the previous one, a new low, a little bit of bounce, and a new low.
This is more consistent than I thought.
Yes, this is, again, downward sloping market trend. Now, technicians will draw a line against that and say this is a pennant, that if it trades up, it breaks out. I don't know. You can draw the lines, knock yourself out. The tape action is telling me that everybody, right now, there's a sense that there are sellers of dollar yen on rallies, and that right now lower levels are being challenged a little bit. So I would be, again, it depends on what you want to look at here. If you think that we're getting another bite at the 142 Apple, which is an inflection point we've had a couple of times, and you think the story is all of U.S. rates are going to be higher, whether that's tariff, again, short end will move on inflation.
Right.
Long end moves over time on things like selling more debt. So different drivers drive different parts of the currency market. If short-term inflation is going to be more impactful, then you're going to argue short-term dollar yen should have a little bit of a bid coming into it. So if you look at it from that standpoint, these levels start to get a little attractive to you. The clutter is, and we talked about this, where do you manage it if I'm wrong? The trade is not back to 147 or 148, but it's somewhere through 142 because it's kind of a sloppy area right here.
And you brought up a point earlier that, heading into this holiday weekend, maybe impacting next week more, but we do tend to see some congestion in run-ups to stuff like that.
Don't get trapped in that.
Okay.
It's a good point, but don't get trapped in that. Holiday weekend thin markets are not what they used to be. There's still a lot of players in
Gotcha.
there. The only time I get concerned about thin markets, if we get to those levels, if we were at 138 Friday afternoon, I'd say, okay, now you've got to be careful because Sunday night's going to be very interesting. We're nowhere near sub 142 or above 149. So yes, there'll be less going through, probably a little bit of a smaller range, but I don't think if you have ideas around that level, there's nothing that should be like, ooh, it's a 3-day weekend, I don't want to touch it. I don't think that plays into it here. But where you do get that effect is if we happen to get into new levels. We're not at new level with 112.5 in euro, 133 in sterling, 59 cents in Kiwi. There's nothing unconventional about any of those prices.
So if a trend follower here were stepping into this dollar yen market, we can use, you mentioned that it's harder to know where to get in, get out. But if we use standard deviations I pulled this morning of what would be a daily range over the 1 month horizon, 1 month of data, we're looking at 111 pips in this dollar yen over the past week, coming into 43. So not sure if that's enough data here, but for example, if someone were to agree that this trend could be continued on this path down to 142 or beyond, stepping in here to take a short position, for example, on one lot, which would be $5,000 in margin here, we could, this is not a risk-defined trade, but one cool thing you can do.
You're looking for the idea that, again, we've seen market structure trade lower. It hasn't been violated. Chances are we've got a little bounce coming into the morning. It's going to roll over. Your objective is you want to see a print sub 144 and then see if you get some follow through.
Right.
And what I love about this too is, and I can't overemphasize this enough, if you're going to trade this and you get that break of 144, pulling off a third of the position is easy to do here. You can do a 0.3 lot and trim that position. And question is from newer traders, oh yeah, but I'm not, if it keeps going, I'm missing out. No, you've taken some risk off the table and you're letting the rest of the trade run. So
and here's a good example of how we can think about kind of the risk reward ratio here 1-to-1, kind of using our one standard deviation range over the past month, where this is a little bit expanded, but around 115 pips here if you were to take where we are right now and just kind of put an equal cushion on this position. You're looking at, right there at that 144 level.
Right.
but you could alter this to say, you want to get stopped out.
And this you're spot on, Glenn. This is the exercise. So go back to your symmetrical management levels. You're going to be disciplined around the math, which is great. Now the question becomes, is there anything around that level of 145.16 that aligns with where market activity has been, that makes sense for it? And this is part of our decision-making process before we put on a trade, is we look at, okay, basis what I expect or what statistically the market give me, does that seem like reasonable levels? Now, you can look at the downside. Yeah, that's a nice spot to take something off right there, and it's obviously achievable. We've been there. When you look at your upside risk level, it's kind of a little bit of a sloppy level there. I mean, what you would want to say is, well, I'm wrong if they break 145.5 or 145.50. Here, I'm cutting myself out a little bit early. I'm staying mechanical, but can it trade 145, 25, 35 and still be in that downtrend we've talked about? It has been. So that brings into question a little bit. Sometimes this exercise is partially my risk tolerance levels and the math align with what market structure is. Here, I think you're setting a stop loss level that is still getting you're not clearing technical or market structure ground where it could still kind of fall back in there. But that's the way you start it. Now, if you want to skew it, if you bring that up to, say, 145.55, now at that point, you've covered the gap that we saw that gap from Sunday night.
Right.
So you've recovered the gap. And again, I'm not a technician, so when I mention these things, just there's a theory that gaps get closed. You're also through that previous high that we saw at 145.45. That would speak to me more of, okay, now there's a sea change in sentiment, and I probably do not want to be short anymore. Are you willing to take the extra 40 pips of loss?
And this is, what could factor into this exercise of order entry could be just waiting for the market to come up to 145 because you're only comfortable with 55 pips of risk to the upside. And if you've decided that this is a more attractive resistance level for your position, something you're comfortable getting stopped out at, then you could have, greater potential here.
Right. So what do we do about that in a very short? But I really want to be short. I got the balance. I think they're going lower. It's great. Wonderful thing you can do here is instead of trading on one lot, trade a mini lot, point 1, and scale
tenth of the side,
and scale every 10 pips up to 145, which is your more symmetrical target level for this trade, and you're going to improve your cost basis. If you don't get them all, the market rolls over. You still got some shorts, but you're letting yourself get paid into your position that then sets up for comfortable. Yeah, if they trade above here, I don't want to be short.
Right.
If they get down here, I'm willing to cover them. So it's just affording yourself some flexibility in the trade creation idea.
Gotcha. Well, those are some good, important considerations when talking about order entry. A lot of markets to watch here as this week keeps on in Forex markets. But a lot left on the slate for today, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Up next, Tom, Tony, and Vanetta on Tasty Live.
Forbes called us best online for options trading. Investopedia, best for options trading, period. With stockbrokers.com, we're #1 for options and futures trading. The Motley Fool really likes us. And so does Business Insider. So what else can we say other than boom? Trade like a trader. Tasty Trade. Make your move.
Your crypto needs a wallet. And crypto is better when it's tasty. You can now do more with your digital currencies with the Tasty Crypto app. We're proud to offer a self-custody wallet for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Polygon. Transfer your digital tokens directly in-app and access thousands of tokens available only on-chain. Your wallet is your key to decentralized finance. Download the Tasty Crypto app and get started today.
The market doesn't stop. So why should you? Diversify your portfolio with stocks, options, futures, crypto, and more from Tasty Trade.